beautiful Saturday night for baseball in Atlanta, and hopefully the Braves youngsters and the veterans alike can get the bats going. Last night, a tough night here in Atlanta as the Marlins shut out the Braves 2-0, but Dansby Swanson's back, and hopefully the Braves bats will be booming in the middle game of 3 here tonight. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Rather pedestrian run of home games for the Braves so far. Atlanta's just 9-9 here at SunTrust Park, and the offense has been slumbering. That's the bad news, Joe. The good news is Atlanta's starting pitching has been outstanding, and perhaps nobody's pitching better right now than tonight's starter, Sean Newcomb.
Yeah, we got a rematch for Sean against Miami. This is the first time he's ever had to face a ball club back-to-back. As you look at this video, you're going to see 3 pitches here. Breaking ball, fastball, fastball. He already had those. This 4th pitch, that's new. That's the changeup. That's been the difference maker for him in this good run that he has been on, where he has not allowed a run in over 20 innings. 19 of those in his last 3 starts, where he's only allowed 5 hits and has recorded 20 strikeouts. He's got it working. He's got that 3rd pitch that everybody said he needed, and that changeup has been outstanding.
And he's chasing potential history. In the history of the game, no starter has ever had 4 consecutive games of 6 innings pitched, no runs allowed, and 2 or fewer hits. Maybe Newcomb can do that to the Miami Marlins in Game 2 of the series tonight. Perfect night for baseball. We know about the pitching, but can the Braves bats come to life? Well, we're going to find out tonight. Kelsey Wiggett in a moment checks out Ozzie Albies' new tools of the trade as we continue from SunTrust Park right after this.
Your local Ford dealer. And the Georgia Lottery.
Welcome back into SunTrust Park. You could not ask for better weather than what we have here tonight for Game 2 versus the Marlins. The Braves lost last night, but they're off to a great start this season, sitting at 26-17, and a big part of that is the young guys. And Ozzie Albies has been swinging a hot bat, and you might have heard Joe Simpson talk about his bats before. He thinks that he has beautiful bats. Well, wood grain is very important to these guys. The wider the grain, the better. And Ozzie Albies, as a young guy, is still getting really good bats. So why does it matter? Why is wood grain so important? We'll have hitting coach Kevin Seitzer break down why.
grain width is really important. So the wider the grains, the fewer the grains in the barrel, the harder the bat is. And Ozzie uses a fairly heavy bat for a little guy. It's a 34.5, 32, which will give you better wood, so the ball comes off hotter. And the longer the bat and the less the weight, then those grains get more closer together where it's not as heavy, so you don't have the same exit velocity that you would off a better grain bat.
Well, whatever grain he's been using has been working. He is second in Major League Baseball with 13 home runs. And if you heard earlier in the season, Ronald Acuna Jr. uses his bats, and I asked Acuna, does Ozzie let you use the good ones with the wide grain? And he said, yeah. I said, what happens if you break it? He said, he just gives me another one. So not only is Ozzie Albies a good ball player, but he is a good friend as well. And hopefully he can get those bats booming for Sean Newcomb tonight as he takes the mound for Game 2 versus the Marlins, looking to keep up his recent success. We have first pitch between the Braves and the Marlins with Chip and Joe coming up next.
Summer here in Atlanta tonight, 84 degrees at first pitch as the Braves try to even up this series with the Miami Marlins, who shut out Atlanta by a 2-0 score last night. Who better to get the Braves back in the win column, Joe, than Sean Newcomb? He is on an amazing roll on the mound.
Well, you see his home road splits, Chip, and that will lead us to some of the Ford Keys tonight, because he has not pitched that well here at SunTrust Park. Great numbers on the road, including that most recent start down in Miami, 6 innings, a 1-hit shutout ball. His Ford Keys to pitching success: don't change a thing, just go same old, same old. Just keep firing that fastball, curveball, change up, use good command, and pitch around some guys if you need to. And home cooking, he needs some to get some of those home numbers in better shape.
And he will face a very different looking Miami lineup here in Game 2. As you mentioned in our pregame commentary, no JT Realmuto for Don Mattingly. We assume he'll be back in the lineup for the day game tomorrow. But still big league hitters for the Marlins: Martin Prado, Miguel Rojas, Starlin Castro third. Brian Anderson's been impressive. He's cleaning up and playing right field. Bohr moves down to fifth with a left-hander on the mound. Then it's Maben, Brinson, Holiday behind the plate, and Jose Urena, who has yet to win a game for Miami, on the mound. He'll bat in the number 9 spot. Marlins are in the stretch of 15 of the next 18 games on the road. Dan Straley pitched a beautiful game last night for a Marlins club that had a team ERA over 7. And Atlanta will try to burst their bubble behind Sean Newcomb here tonight.
That's always a winner.
So Martin Prado will lead off for the Marlins. Miami comes to town 17-27 on the year. Braves at the moment in a flat-footed tie in the Eastern Division race. The Phillies came back and beat the Cardinals today in St. Louis by a 7-6 final score. And Newcomb's first pitch is right there for a strike. Gabe Morales has the plate, and we are underway. Prado 174 for the year, no homers, 3 RBIs. Martin singled and scored the first Miami run. Both their runs came in the 6th inning last night against Matt Whistler, who pitched a beautiful ball game.
Just a good ball game. He was the odd man out because of his work last night, not because of the quality of it, but because of the innings.
And a ground ball hit to the left side. The pick and the pop to first in plenty of time. Johan Camargo starting at the hot corner tonight. And Martin's retired for out number 1.
Meaning since Whistler is not a permanent part of the rotation right now, his spot start, that made him the odd man out when Dansby came aboard.
So yeah, the left side of the infield has Swanson back at shortstop. He's playing in a big league game for the first time since May 2nd. Camargo slides to the right and plays third for Atlanta as Miguel Rojas digs in. He was 0 for 2 last night. Pretty good pitch, but called a ball. One thing we noticed about Sean in his last start against the Marlins was excellent 2-strike efficiency. He would get to 2 strikes and the at bat was resolved pretty quickly. He got to strike 2 on 15 hitters down in Miami. He needed 27 pitches to finish the at bat, which at times was a problem for him because he can get a little wild. He's behind here, 3 balls, no strikes.
His normal turn would have been last night, but pushed back a day for no particular reason. Something they'd planned to do all along, and that's why Whistler got a start last night.
That one split the plate, 3 balls and a strike.
The rain out pushed everybody back a day too.
Another shot toward third. This one is foul, however, and Newcomb's back in the count, 3-2.
How about those numbers with 2 strikes? That's putting them away. That's finishing them off.
So he's got a full count for the Miami shortstop. And Rojas shoots one into right field for a base hit. So Rojas keeps up his good work on the road. He's got 9 hits in his last 9 road games, including today's first inning single.
He got a fastball and he got one up. And a nice piece of hitting here on a letter high fastball to go the other way with it.
So Starlin Castro stands in. Castro has 50 hits on the year. 6 of those 50 have come against the Braves, including 1 of his 2 homers. Castro had a double and a single last night in his last 2 trips to the plate. His double in the 6th inning brought in Real Muto to make it 2-0. And here's the last hitter faced by Matt Whistler. Newcomb bathed in bright sunshine as he stands on the mound. And now Rojas needs a moment at first base. He might be having trouble seeing the signs of Freddie Gonzalez as he looks through that bright sunshine across the diamond. And fouled at the plate. So it's 1-2. That stat we showed you about Newcomb, all those strikeouts with 2 strikes, that's 54 strikeouts at 101 at bats.
That's incredible. Better than half. And he's averaging better than a strikeout per inning pitched overall coming in. 54 in 46 2/3 innings.
20 straight innings without a run for Newcomb. That's on the line here in the first inning. As Castro digs in right at the front of the box. The pitch is fouled away into the second deck. We'll do it again. Miami starts action tonight 7-12 away from Marlins Park. They're 5-9 within the division. Braves far and away have the best record against Eastern foes. They're 17-9. And there's the strikeout. Castro not happy with that offering. And there's out number 2 here in the first inning.
It's that high fastball again, but this one was a little bit out of the zone. And he still was able to get Castro to chase it. Here it is.
So Newcomb has his second out. Here's Anderson, who's celebrating his birthday today. Anderson's 25 years young and already down a strike. He has had a very impressive run at the plate. Not a lot of hits, but he's put it in play, Joe. He's had 18 trips to the dish. He has not yet struck out against Atlanta pitching. This is the 6th game between the Braves and Marlins.
Good fastball hitter is what we've seen already, and he gets the barrel to the ball. Makes solid contact.
Like that.
Yeah.
But he swung late and he's down 2 strikes.
25 years old. I had a friend tell me one time when he was about 24 that he said, I wanted to be a man by the time I was 25, but I'm running out of time.
Well, a good looking player is this young man. Played some outfield in college. Played third base last year for Miami when Martin Prado was hurt. Now playing right field and playing it well. It might be turning into a nice answer to a whole lot of problems that the Marlins have to try to fill in their starting 8.
Absolutely, he is.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Rojas at first. The pitch. And a swing and a miss. Something off speed. Was that the change?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a beauty. Couple of strikeouts for Newcomb. Rojas stranded at first. Sean off to a good start. Let's see if the Braves bats can go to work against Jose Urena. Total of 40 runs on the year. They'll try to do that against Jose Urena. Braves bats were silenced last night. 2-0 was the final score for Miami. The Braves had 4 hits. Nick Markakis had 3 of them all by himself. So let's see, Joe, if the Toyota starting 9 tonight spreads the offense around. The bottom can feed the top, and Albies and company can run like crazy on the bases against a hard-throwing Marlins right-hander.
This guy's 0-6, but he's going to break out at some point. You always hope it's never against you. See, his numbers were pretty high his first 3 innings, but he was a 14-game winner last year. He's 0-6 with a .438. He may be the best 0-6 pitcher in baseball. 94 to 97 fastball, split, and a changeup.
Pretty remarkable. A guy that won, what, 14 games last year is 0-6 this year with the kind of stuff he possesses. I get it's a team that's a total rebuild. But goodness gracious, that's quite a fall from grace for Jose Urena. That's hammered toward left. Made it on the run. Dives, and he makes a terrific catch to save a double and maybe more.
Well, that was a good choice tonight for Don Mattingly. Already, Cameron Maben paying dividends. Not sure Derek Dietrich gets to that one in such fine fashion, robbing him of a hit.
So there's out number 1. Here's Ronald Acuna. He was 0 for 4 last night, batting .262 for the year. And foul back, strike 1. Braves had trouble again with Dan Straley last night. Straley's beaten the Braves twice. In 2018, 7 innings of 3-hit ball. And now Urena 0-6. Tries to help the Marlins win this series outright tonight. Chopper hit toward third. Martin got rid of it quickly. He knew who was running. Had a nice play for the second out. It brings up Freddie Freeman. Freddie has 51 hits this year. Braves have 3 guys in the top 5 in National League hits. Markakis leads the pack with 59, Albies with 52, Freeman 51. Freddie's currently 6th in the league at .319 with his batting average. No balls, 1 strike. Teams have been pitching Freeman real carefully. He's walked 8 times in the last 7 games.
He's sure pitching away from his shift that he's got behind him, throwing sinkers down and away.
Two and 2 now for the Braves first baseman. And that's tipped and caught, and that retires the side. Urena 3 up, 3 down, and a scoreless first in Atlanta. With MLB.tv, your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for all the details. Newcomb and Urania off to good starts here at SunTrust Park. And we go to the second inning. Justin Bour, Cameron Maybin, and Lewis Brinson are coming up. Ball missed inside for Bour. 1 ball, no strikes. This year, Bour's turning into something more than just a slugger. He's a very patient hitter this season for Miami. He's taking his share of walks. Doing a respectable job against left-handed pitchers. Hitting .233. And when he connects, it goes a long, long way.
Yeah, when I saw that Real Muto wasn't playing, I just figured Bour wasn't either, with the left-hander out there, but not so.
And Newcomb falls behind him. 3 balls and a strike.
And it was that slow curve from Sean that got Anderson to strike out in the first inning. Not the change up.
Well, it was a beauty.
Yes, it was.
And he takes downstairs for ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Mr. Bour. That is Bour's 29th walk this year. He's had a whole bunch of games with 2 or more walks. Last year he walked only 47 times. He's a different guy at the plate. And now Cameron Maybin strokes one toward the gap in right center. That's down for a hit. Bour around second. He's chugging to third. And Cameron Maybin's made his presence felt already tonight. A great catch in left. And now a double to right center field on the first pitch. And Miami's in business, second and third with nobody out.
That was a pretty good fastball. It was inner half. And Cameron a little inside out on the swing. Solid. So Sean in the soup for the first time in a long time. See what he does to try and get out of it.
Lewis Brinson's a strikeout candidate. He was 0 for 3 last night. And takes a strike. Brinson 3 for 19 against Atlanta. .53 strikeouts, 146 at bats. And missed inside. 2-1 the count. Tom Glavine has said many times that one of the most difficult things for a young pitcher to do is exactly what Sean's trying to do tonight. Beat an opponent in back-to-back starts. As you said, he hasn't done this before.
And they start making adjustments. And you have to adjust also. Oh, Bour.
Ground ball to short. Bour didn't go. The throw high, and Brinson's out at first, and he's looking across the diamond in disbelief. On a ground ball to shortstop, Bour didn't break for the plate, and the Braves get a gift. It's still a scoreless game with 1 out.
Wow. He just froze. And you know that Freddie Gonzalez told him that the infield's back. You're going on anything other than back to the pitcher. Nice save by Freddie. First break.
So Brian Holiday is the hitter. And he hits another one toward short. Bour goes on this one. And a throw to first in time is the second out. So the Marlins cash in the leadoff walk that ends Newcomb's scoreless streak at 21 innings and 2/3. Maybin holds at second. There's 2 outs and Miami leads 1-0. Here's Urania, who's 1 for 14 at the plate. And a strike. Braves have lost 5 of their last 6 games here at SunTrust Park. They have not scored more than 4 runs during that stretch on their home turf. Atlanta starting action tonight, 9-19 at home, and they're in the middle of a stretch where they play a lot of home games.
9-9. Not 19.
No, 9-9.
Yeah.
So, did I say 19?
Yeah.
Beg your pardon. 9-9. Excuse me. Let's not get that far ahead of ourselves. 1-0 Miami, middle of the second. Total hits, and Nick is the man that will lead off the second inning for the Braves. Suzuki and Inciarte will follow, and Nick's had a great month, as you see on our Georgia Lottery, hitting the jackpot.
And his 59 hits, leading the National League. That's what it's all about, hits. Just keep racking them up, and he did last night with 3.
Brian Schnitker and the Braves trail 1-0 to Jose Urania, one of the worst supported offensive pitchers in the National League this year. And he's trying to avoid an 0-7 start, which is what Edinson Volquez had to deal with last year. He started 0-7 for Miami last season. So Markakis at 343 on the year. Odubel Herrera leads the National League batting race at 358 at the start of play tonight.
Has he still got that incredible consecutive game streak of reaching base?
Yeah, I think so. It's in the mid 40s now. I think earlier in the homestand, I think against the Cubs, I think Kelsey had a highlight where he said, well, he's on base 42 straight games. He's only halfway to Ted Williams.
Oh, that's right.
And a shot hit to short, but right at Rojas, who is positioned perfectly. 4 up, 4 down for Urania, 1 away here in the second. And Kurt Suzuki's coming up. Kurt at 262. And 1 for his last 19. And we're going to have a momentary delay here as Cameron Maben's going to get a visit from one of the Bat Boys. Sunglasses.
If they're not flip downs, it's going to be hard to see the ball off the bat. Hitter standing in the shadow, and Cameron was having a little sun issue in his face. And they are not flipped down.
You see Rojas shielding his eyes. Still a patch of sunshine behind the shortstop spot here at SunTrust. Lights have been on since the first pitch, trying to help cut down some of those shadows. Almost all the left field bleachers in bright sunshine. Most of the upper deck in left as well. And Suzuki digs in with a 1-1 count and fouled at the plate. Rangers throwing hard. That last pitch at 98 miles an hour.
And he's got such an odd, quirky arm angle that it gets on you in a hurry. It's almost like he's kind of stiff arming it up there.
Lifted to right and into the seats. Big crowd here tonight. You saw from the panoramic view afforded us by our director Gary Lehman tonight. Braves and Marlins drew 27,000 plus last night. We should have about that many, maybe more tonight. And the 1-2 is hit to the left side. Prado vacuums that up. His throw right on the money. 2 down.
Notice there's a few people on the balconies over there at the Omni Hotel taking in the game as well.
That's a great seat. So quickly 2 outs. And here's Ender.
And they're watching the game. Glad you're watching.
Come on, say hi, Mom. Come on. And Ender takes downstairs, ball 1. One of the key moments in the game last night for the Braves. They had second and third, nobody out. Tyler Flowers popped out. They intentionally walked Ender and Ciarte to load the bases in a scoreless game. And Batista and Camargo were retired, and that was the last great scoring chance for the Braves. And Ender picks up the first hit with a single right back where it came from, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
Turned around a little 96-mile-an-hour heater out away from him. Starch and a little spin off that pitch.
So here's Camargo. Got to get him going. Johan hitting 200 on the year. And Ender back at first. You know, he's thinking about running. He's got 18 stolen bases on the year. 5 ahead of Trey Turner and the Washington Nationals. And up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Camargo got the bulk of the playing time at shortstop when Dansby went down with the sore wrist, and to be honest, he really offensively hasn't taken advantage of it. 6 for 41 at the plate in those starts.
No, he's been a little in between. You know, he's been I don't know if he's been guessing a lot, but he just seems to be in between on some pitches and not waiting.
That was close.
This guy behind the plate, Holiday, has thrown out 6 out of 10 base stealers. I'd say he's got a pretty good arm.
1 ball, no strikes. Another quarter step on the lead by Ender. He's running the pitch outside. The throw to second on the money and in time. Perfect throw by Holiday, who just threw out his 7th would-be base stealer this year.
Yep, 7 out of 11's not bad. Got him.
Looks like they got him. I don't think the Braves will challenge this. Ender slams the helmet down in frustration, and that's the inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left. 1-0 Marlins. We go to the third.
And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
1-0 Miami. We've completed 2 innings here at SunTrust Park. Sean Newcomb surrendered a leadoff walk and the game's first run in his last inning of work. Now he faces the 1-2-3 spots for Miami as they go through the lineup a second time. Martin Prado rolled out to third to start the game. And that's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. And a couple of double headers in the National League today. Reds beat the Cubs 5-4 in game 1 of a doubleheader in Cincinnati. Dodgers beat the Nationals 4-1. Fly ball to right. That'll chase Markakis back a step or 2, and he'll make the play for the first out. Walker Buehler pitched that game for the Dodgers and looked very, very good. The Nationals just delighted to actually play more than 5 innings for the first time in a week.
Play period.
So Washington 24-19 at the moment. Only the 18th win for Los Angeles. Here's Rojas. He singled his first time up. Ball 1. Brave starters have done a good job. Last 10 games, a 2.29 collective ERA. They have pitched very effective baseball.
They've carried their weight, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. What's somewhat vexing is how quickly the offense has gone cold.
It can happen overnight, literally. This team was so hot for so long.
1-1 pitch. And a grounder to the right side. Freeman's got it. He'll race to the bag ahead of Rojas. 2 out. And Starlin Castro, the hitter, he struck out his first time up. Castro's in the top 10 in hits. As I mentioned, he's got 50 of them.
Chased a bad ball for the strikeout his first time up.
Well outside, ball 2. Took a little off, and that dropped in for a strike. There's the changeup.
One of his better ones so far. Located down and away.
Well, he's thrown it twice in a row. Would he dare do it again?
Can afford to right here if he wants. Probably wishes he had instead of the curveball. I think there wasn't a bull standing back there.
That was one of the great scenes in Bull Durham's movie. Goodness gracious, fouled away.
And it's Nuke out there pitching right now.
Well, that's a good point. Let's see if he can breathe through his eyelids here and take care of Castro and get the Braves bats back in action here in the bottom of the 3rd. To 3rd. And Camargo's got it. The throw across in plenty of time. And he does take care of Miami in order. 3 up and 3 down. He's set down 6 straight. Bats to come to life here at home. SunTrust Park has not yet been a home field advantage for the Braves yet this year.
No, losing 5 of their last 6 ball games. We remember the sweep against the Giants, which was unfortunate because it was just a 3-game sweep through. I mean, move through Atlanta in the midst of a long road trip, and that kind of marred some of the numbers. But last night, getting shut out too. Time to get to work here.
Well, a new set of strikes for Johan Camargo. He was in the box when Ender was thrown out trying to steal. 2 homers, 11 RBIs for Johan Camargo. And that's lifted out of play left side, even count. It'll be interesting, I think, the next several days. how the left side of the infield works itself out. Braves have a lot of players who can play third base and shortstop on their roster right now. Tonight it's Dansby and Camargo's turn to play. You've got Culberson, you've got Batista, and you've got Ryan Flaherty.
It's kind of a Rubik's Cube over there for 2 spots.
Two balls, 2 strikes. He got his second inning run. That run has stood up for Urena to this point. The 2-2 pitch. And he's run it full.
Urena got a strike 2 call in there that Camargo thought was a ball, and Urena went back in there the next 2 pitches and missed just off the plate.
Here comes the full count pitch. And that one missed inside. There's a promising start. Leadoff walk. Urena doesn't walk many. That's only the 14th free pass he's issued this year. And now we'll welcome Dansby back. Dansby last played in a big league game May 2nd against the Mets. He went to the DL 2 days later with that left wrist inflammation. And that wrist really appeared to be bothering him, Joe. His numbers really took a hit at the plate.
Yeah. It'd been 9 for his last 47, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. And didn't take long to figure that out when he had to go to the DL. And he kept it pretty quiet in terms of trying to play through it.
And he's got some new weaponry as he digs in against Urena. Dansby's made the decision to go with the axe-handled bat, like Kurt Suzuki.
Hoping that slope knob will not cause any problems for his wrist. His left one, the bottom hand.
The 0-2 pitch is off the plate. And it wasn't just the outs for Dansby that were so alarming. It was the number of strikeouts, because he'd done such a good job, Joe, over the first month of the season of putting the ball in play. That was probably the first indicator something wasn't right. But he says he's good to go now after a couple of hits in his rehab game. And he bats against Urena tonight. And he promptly hits one to short. Second for 1, first for 2. That's a double play. 2 outs. So Newcomb's coming up with the bases empty, 2 outs. Sean's 2 for 14 as a hitter. In there for a strike. That's put in play slowly to short. And the throw to first is in time. Urena works around a leadoff walk. We go to the 4th. Still 1-0.
horseshoe to my glove side, so inside. Kind of just straightforward with that. Then I go to my changeup. I kind of go off the same grip so that it has a similar spin. Looks similar to the fastball. And then I got a curveball. I use the horseshoe to the left, get some finger pressure on my middle finger. I hook my thumb underneath, and then I just try to stay on top of it with this with my middle finger. Kind of get some up and down 12-6 spin. Those are the 3 pitches right there.
And it's that changeup that everybody's so excited about for Sean Newcomb. He's always had the fastball, and he's always had that hard curveball. It's that third pitch that you think, Joe, is, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but has really elevated him to this 4-0 run for Atlanta.
Absolutely. It's been a difference for him. And if we had done that repertoire before, it wouldn't have taken as long.
Right.
It was just fastball, curve, and that was it. So the help he's had in adding that changeup has really made him 4-1 in my opinion. That and having confidence to throw his fastball over the plate, not walking quite as many guys.
Well, 1 walk for him tonight. That run unfortunately came around to score in the second. That was Justin Bohr who waits on deck. Brian Anderson leads off. He struck out to end the first and takes a little low. Ball 2. There's the change. To be able to throw that behind in the count tells you how much confidence he has in that pitch. He's going to follow it up. And got the call. 2-2.
Kurt Suzuki's kind of conveying some of that confidence back to him by calling it repeatedly.
Right back where it came from and into center field. A 2-2 single for Brian Anderson on his birthday. And Miami has another leadoff man on this time here in the 4th inning.
Rojas single to right, remember, on a high fastball. Well, they wanted to go up in the zone here. Kurt gave a high target, and it just wasn't high enough. That's why Anderson could level off on it. There's the high target. Pitch was basically at the glove, but Anderson spoiled that. One of the dangers of going upstairs and missing.
So Bohr's the batter. He walked and scored back in the second. And Sean missed down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Bohr's been quite a find for this Marlins franchise. A Rule 5 pick out of the Cubs organization. Cubs had Anthony Rizzo. No place for Bohr to play there, and Marlins took a flyer on him, and here he is, coming off a 25 homer, 83 RBI year last year, his best in the major leagues. He did that in only 108 games.
That pitch was well off the mark, but Sean's not getting anything called at the bottom of the zone so far. Gabe Morales not giving that pitch so far tonight.
Dangerous pitch, 3-0, and that one called a strike. They've been double to right center. He's next. Now the change. Bohr was way out in front. Full count.
One more time.
Why not? Too far off the plate. So Bohr walks for the second time. More trouble for Newcomb. First and second, nobody out. And Bohr's a different hitter.
Not quite the free swinger he has been in the past. His average not very high, but he's walking, as you said, walking a lot.
Yeah, from May 8th through 12th, he set a Marlins record with multi-walks in 5 consecutive games. He's got 30 walks this year, including 2 tonight. Now Maben's up there. Be careful with him on the first pitch. He was and missed. 1 ball, no strikes.
Cameron last year second in the American League in stolen bases. 33. And having a hard time, A, finding a club that would sign him this winter, and B, trying to get some playing time here with the Fish to steal some bases for them.
Line to second. No play anywhere else. Hard hit ball, but Maben's retired for the first out. Good base running by Anderson and Bohr, not to wander too far off their bags. And now Brinson, the batter. 2 on, 1 out now. Wonder if Brinson's going through the same thing that Dansby Swanson went through last year with the Braves. As this one's out of play, foul. You know, if Dansby's struggles in his first full major league season, hometown kid, very popular guy, face on the billboards, bobblehead days, all that stuff. I'm told that before the Marlins threw a pitch during regular season play, they had Brinson's face all around the ballpark in Miami as a local kid coming back in the Yelich deal. I'm sure on one hand it's great to be playing before friends and family every night, but the last thing he wants to do is disappointment, which only adds more pressure to a guy that's been traded for one of the most popular and successful players in Marlins history.
We had a feeling the Marlins were going to promote the heck out of him, though, after trading Yelich for him. And Brinson being a former #1 pick and the #1 prospect in the Brewers organization. I was just thinking about what an awesome opportunity he's getting. Win, lose, or draw, it's like they're just saying you're playing every day no matter what. And for him to get all this time to try to figure some things out will hopefully come back for them in spades.
1-2 pitch is lifted to the right side, slicing toward the seats, and out of play, foul. Obviously, as you said, the talent's there. You're #1 pick for a reason. You're a good player. But this level's different than that AAA level.
Well, he's hit 5 home runs, including 1 against the Braves to center field down in Miami. And you know he's got some pop. You know he can run. But that's not enough if you're hitting $160.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Little pop into shallow center. Ender's coming on. He's going to get there, and there's a big second out. Brinson sawed off. He's 0 for 2. And now Brian Holiday, the catcher, is going to stand in. He's got the game's lone RBI. Holiday is no kid. He's 30 years old. He's been with the Tigers, Texas, Boston, now Miami, who got him as a minor league free agent at the end of November last year.
Well, he appears to be the ideal backup for Real Muto, who rarely takes a day off. And when he does, apparently this guy's defense is so good that they don't care what happens with his bat. 7 out of 11 caught stealings really get your attention,
including Ender Inciarte, the league's leading base stealer, who he threw out in the second inning.
And Ender got a really good jump.
One 1-0 pitch. Well, this guy was a terrific catcher at TCU. Hit 17 homers during his senior year. Was all Mountain West Conference award winning, and won the Coleman Company Johnny Bench Award, which is given annually to the best collegiate catcher in baseball. Most games he's played in one big league season is 62 back in 2014 with the Tigers. And he's ahead 3-0 with the pitcher waiting next. Well, there's a low strike that wasn't called earlier.
Got the benefit of the doubt on that one, didn't he?
Now it's a full count. Urania is on deck. Braves want to see him lead off the fifth. Anderson and Bohr will be off to the races with a full count pitch. 2 outs. There they go, and it is fouled away.
Boy, the chop house is hopping tonight. Beautiful night. Stand out on the patio. Have a nice cold adult beverage.
Line to right and right at those folks in the chop house, but Nick Markakis is there. Nice work by Newcomb. 2 on, nobody out, and the Marlins don't add to their lead.
Of the 4th inning, and the Braves had a very special guest here at SunTrust Park today. He goes by President Austin. This is a 4-year-old who decided he doesn't want to use his toy money anymore. He wants to give it to some homeless people, and he buys them some really good goodies. Now, Austin, what do you do?
Feed the homeless.
And what do you feed them?
Chicken sandwiches.
And what is your life motto?
Show love.
And what does show love mean?
It means you care about what they look like.
So Austin got to meet Freddie Freeman. He got to meet Kurt Suzuki. He got to meet Dansby Swanson. They all gave him a lot of cool swag today. Hey, now, can you stand up and show Chip and Joe your really cool cape that Kurt Suzuki gave you? Chip and Joe, check this out.
Nice.
That is sweet.
Now, can you say hi to Chip and Joe for me?
Yes. Hi.
Hey, Austin, good job, man. Welcome to SunTrust Park. What a great kid. What a great story.
What a smile. That is so cool.
He's having a blast.
Does Kurt know that, or do you know that Kurt got that out of your closet?
No.
Okay.
It's okay. It looked better on that kid than it would on me.
Yeah, I agree.
Ozzie Albies leads off the home 4th. Maben robbed him his first time up. This one a routine fly to left. And Ozzie will be the first out. He's 0 for 2, 1 away. Braves have 1 hit tonight. Braves had 4 hits last night. And here's Acuna. Ronald bounced out to third his first time up. Tough break, didn't mean to, but fouled away, strike 1. That's got to frustrate you to no end. That's not a strike for Newcomb, but it is for Urania.
It's Acuna wouldn't know that. But if Kurt Suzuki were up there, he certainly would, and would be peppering Morales with some questions. Kurt going capeless tonight.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And strike 3. Acuna couldn't pull the trigger. 2 up, 2 down. That's the second strikeout for Urania tonight.
You're seeing an example of why this guy was 14-7 last year with an ERA in the 3s. He's not an 0-6 guy. He's had very little run support. He's got a good arm. Started off in their bullpen a couple of years ago before being moved to the rotation. He's got a solid arm.
And as you said down in Miami and here tonight, even though he's 0-6, you really hate facing a guy like this because you know the odds are somewhere along the way he's going to win.
Yes, he's going to get some runs and he's going to put a W on you.
And right now, 1 run looking really big for Urania as he pitches to Freeman here in the 4th inning, and Freddie's behind 0-2.
And like I said, his arm action is very short, and yet he's throwing 97. Hard to pick the ball up.
Right to the left side and into the shift. And Freeman and the Braves are retired in order again. 3 up, 3 down. Urania leads off the 5th, and he's up 1-0. The Omni was hopping before the game tonight. As the sun goes down and cools off, fans are turning their attention to the diamond, where Miami leads 1-0 after 4 innings in Game 2 of the series. Urania leads off. He struck out back in the 2nd inning. Braves will always be a special opponent for the Marlins right-hander. He made his major league debut against Atlanta April 14th, 2015. Against the Braves, he worked in relief and also started a game or two. His debut was a relief appearance, 1 hit in 1 scoreless inning. And he was swinging for the fences, came up empty, and Newcomb struck him out. Sean's got 4 strikeouts in the game. He's retired 4 straight. And back to the top in Martin Prado. Hard to believe Martin's 34 years young now. He's got another year on his contract. He came over from the Yankees for Nate Eovaldi, Garrett Jones, and Domingo Germán after the 2014 season. Last year, a horribly frustrating season for him. He played just 37 games due to 3 trips to the disabled list.
Had a lot of leg problems. This wouldn't go away. I think it's a reminder to everyone who gets a hamstring injury not to try to come back too quick.
And this might make you mad. He got hurt playing in the World Baseball Classic. Start of the year on the disabled list. He was playing great for Venezuela and had to withdraw after he tweaked his hamstring. Became the first player in WBC history to have a 5-hit game in that international tournament.
Doesn't make me mad. It just frustrates me and makes me disappointed. So many good players are lost, could be lost in a tournament that's not for the World Championship. Only bragging rights.
2-2 pitch. And that's taken low. And last year the Marlins were really counting on Martin to build on a fantastic 2016 year. Saw Prado hit .305, scored 70 runs, had 183 hits. As this one's unloaded on deep toward left, Acuna going back, slowing now to the track, and at the 385 sign made the play. That was close.
It's kind of weird to say, but that's a ball that might have been out down in Miami. Generally think about that as a big yard.
And you know, that's funny. Last year, our first year here at SunTrust Park, we commented early in the year how the ball was flying out of the ballpark. That is the exact opposite of what we're seeing in the early days of 2018.
You're right.
There have been only 28 home runs hit by the Braves and their opponents in this ballpark this year. And would you believe that SunTrust Park at the moment is the most difficult ballpark in the major leagues for a hitter to hit a home run in? Some of that has to do with how good the Braves pitching has been. But the ball's apparently not carrying nearly as aggressively as it did in 2017.
That is odd.
1 ball, 1 strike for Miguel Rojas, who singled and bounced out to first.
Such a pretty park. I get a kick out of I look out there at the Chop House and I see it packed tonight. It is just about every night. But I also see people walking around the concourse above the bleachers in left field. And those people may or may not be going back and forth to their seat. But a lot of them are just walking in a circle around the stadium. Love it.
Back to the mound, and Newcomb will flip to first. He has a much needed easy 5th inning. Markakis, Suzuki, and Ender coming up. Still a 1-0 Marlins lead.
The tempers got a little testy in game 1 between the Reds and Cubs in the 7th. Amir Garrett will strike out Javier Baez in a key situation. He was excited. Baez said, "Hey, don't be talking smack to me." Tempers fell it. Then bottom of the 11th, bases loaded. 5-man drawn in infield. Could have been 7, wouldn't have mattered. Billy Hamilton draws the walk-off walk from Justin Wilson. They win it in 11. However, the Cubs are up 2-0 in the 5th in the nightcap. Back to you guys.
Okay, Jerome, thank you.
I think that's kind of hilarious that Javi Baez was upset over somebody doing something demonstrative.
Yes. What was the movie? I guess The Hands on the Other Foot, Spalding, or something.
Yeah.
Right. So, just what Jim Riggleman and Joe Madden wanted, by the way. Extra innings in a doubleheader in Cincinnati. But you know what? Jim Riggleman's Reds playing a lot better. And we've got some good young pitching. We saw that in the first 2 games we played in Cincinnati. I like that Tyler Mahle guy a lot. 1 ball, 1 strike for Markakis as it's popped back toward us. 1-2.
Yeah, I'm glad to see them playing a lot better too. That was a miserable start for them.
Urania rolling merrily along with a 1-0 lead. He's firing a 1-hitter. And a little high. Even count for Markakis. Last 23 games, Nick has gotten on base 48 times and has struck out just 6 times. And that's going to continue. A 2-strike hit for Markakis, and the Braves have their second leadoff man aboard. He is some kind of good. 60th hit.
And pitchers think they've got him set up, and then they decide to come in. That was a slider. Stayed over the middle of the plate, and he's able to still keep his hands inside the baseball and turn on it. From up here, I thought he actually tried to jam him, and that was not the case. But it allowed Nick to turn on it.
So 2,112 hits for Nick Markakis now. As Kurt Suzuki bats, he bounced out to Prado his first time up. And that pushed him off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Since 1933, which was the year of the first All-Star game, and remember in the early days they played 2 of them. There have been 152 players that have had as many hits or more than Nick Markakis. There's the 1-0 pitch, which won't be made. Every single one of those 152 players, except Juan Pierre, has made at least 1 All-Star team.
I'll be darned. Juan Pierre didn't either, huh?
And Nick Markakis, most hits among active players, never to be an All-Star. So Braves country, if you want to see Nick play, get out and vote. This year he is very deserving. Nick also has 442 doubles. There have been 84 players with that many doubles and over 2,100 hits. All 84 went to an All-Star game. 35 of them are in the Hall of Fame. As that's out of play, foul. So we truly are seeing Nick Markakis in his last year of the contract he signed 4 years ago, having a season for the ages for this Atlanta club, and so instrumental in Atlanta's run to the top of the division here in the middle of May. 2 balls, 1 strike. So Kurt in the driver's seat.
Good pitch count. Doesn't have to swing unless it's something he really is looking for. And you know he'll be hunting the fastball. Holiday has an equipment issue.
See, he wears that plastic thumb protector inside his catcher's mitt. And And somebody will go to work and try to repair Holiday's gamer. 3 balls and a strike. He got the fastball. He ropes it to short. Bobbled. Low throw to second, and that's all Miami's going to get. Suzuki hit a rocket off Rojas's chest. He kept it at his feet, threw to Castro to force Markakis, and Ender's up with 1 on 1 out.
Nick's hitting some really tough luck lately. Remember the line drive he hit right at Chris Bryant the other night that almost took Bryant's hat off? Anywhere but right at Rojas, it's a base hit.
Ender turned around a 96-mile-an-hour fastball his first time up, and then was thrown out trying to steal second base. Braves have only had 4 base runners in this game. Ground ball past Bohr. That ricochets to the second baseman. Glove flipped to the bag. Everybody's safe. Ball got away. Ender's on his way to second. Suzuki's on his way to third. Castro tried to make a heroic play. He flipped it up for grabs. Nobody could catch it, and Atlanta's got second and third, 1 out.
I thought he had a play by just making a normal fielding play. It was hit hard, and Urania was there. If he gloves it to throw, so was Bohr, and in the process, Urania gets right in the way of Inciarte and gets clobbered.
Well, he's lucky too. He landed on his right arm and right shoulder and popped up very quickly. He's now pawing around and working behind the mound. He may get a couple of warm-up tosses. He's lucky not to have gotten stepped on. And there you see him falling on the elbow and shoulder. Well, there's the break Atlanta was looking for. It's an infield hit, an error on Castro, and the Braves have him second and third. 1 out for Camargo. Braves have been so good all year long with runners in scoring position. They're in a dry spell, however. They're 3 for their last 27 with men at second or third base. Fly ball here might get you tied. Camargo looking for more than that. And a nice stop by Holiday to save a run. Ball 1.
Even a ground ball. Infield's back. Even if you just hit the ball on the ground somewhere other than to the pitcher, you're going to get a run.
So Rojas couldn't field a ground ball cleanly. That cost him an out and gave the Braves a base runner. Ender's infield hit and the fielding error chases runners to second and third. And I wonder if Urania is starting to think, uh-oh, here we go again. Line drive, base hit. Suzuki scores. Ender will stop at third. Anderson's got a real strong arm, but a big hit for Camargo ties the game. He needed that, and the Braves needed that.
How about that? He moves to third, and he's 2 for 2 tonight and hit this hard. And because it was hit hard, Ron Washington, there's a changeup, by the way. Ron Washington had to throw up the stop sign on Inciarte, but because, as you said, Brian Anderson's already shown a really good arm in right field.
So instead of bases empty, 2 outs, and Inciarte aboard with an infield hit, the bobble at second gave the Braves an extra out. The error helped that as well, and Camargo cashed in the first run. And Dansby will be the hitter. He hit into a double play back in the 3rd inning. Toronto even with the bag at 3rd. Fast runner at 3rd. He bunts. It's back to the mound. Ureña's coming home. It's too late. Everybody's safe. A perfectly executed bunt to give Atlanta the lead. Love it.
I love it too because it was put down. The only play he really had was at first base, and no chance here. But watching the play develop, there was nobody at first base to take a throw anyway.
So now Sean Newcomb's been given a lead. It's 2-1. Atlanta with 4 singles. The Marlins with an error and a bobble at shortstop. And now the fans at SunTrust start to chop and chant as Newcomb squares and bunts that one beautifully. Only one play. It's to first. And all of a sudden now Atlanta offensively, Joe, playing small ball, doing a lot of little things well, and it's adding up to a 5th inning lead.
Third sacrifice of the year for Sean Newcomb. Well done.
So Albies stands in. He's 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to left. He gets a hit here. This place will go crazy. 2-1 Atlanta. Line drive, right field, base hit. Camargo scores. Here comes Dansby. Anderson loads, fires, ball cut off. Throw to second. Swim move, they got him.
That's all right. When you force the opposing team to cut the ball off in an effort to get you, that means another run scored.
The Braves score 4 times on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 singles.
Well, that pitch was down. You could see Holiday getting ready to block it. Another changeup. He got burned on 2 of them in that inning. And with Dansby trying to score, Ozzie forced him to cut the ball off. And some tricky slide work wasn't quite enough, but it got 2 RBIs.
So it's 4 runs on 4 hits, not 5. My mistake. And Atlanta has given Newcomb a 3-run lead after 5 innings. A 4-1 game now.
That's more like it.
Braves a perfect 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They had 3 hits in their previous 27 tries in that department. Isn't that funny? Newcomb's got Castro, Anderson, and Bohr coming up. Dansby with a perfect bunt brought home a run too in his first game back from injury. Castro a little late. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Told you earlier the Phillies beat the Cardinals 7-6. For the moment the Phillies and Braves are tied in the East. If Atlanta wins they'll remain a half game in front.
And the Braves and Phillies start a 3-game series Monday night in Philadelphia.
Mike Foltynewicz and Nick Pivetta on Monday. Brandon McCarthy, Vince Velasquez on Tuesday. The Braves have not officially announced a starter Wednesday. Jake Arrieta will pitch for the Phillies. Lifted toward right. Ender on the run. Markakis is there. And a collision. Who's got it? It's Markakis who made the grab at the 375 sign. Ender covered a mile of territory. And Markakis held on up against the fence.
Nick was there. Sometimes when you're that close to the wall, you can't hear the other guy because the crowd's so close. Really fortunate that Nick was able to hold on to that.
Bouncing ball towards short, and that'll sneak through for Brian Anderson, who's got his second hit. And Miami has a 1-out single from Anderson. That's hit number 4 for the Fish. And Justin Bohr, the batter. Newcomb's walked him twice. Braves bullpen is busy. Newcomb pushing toward 100 pitches with 1 out in the 6th. Newcomb has pitched more than 6 innings once this year. That was in New York on May the 2nd. That's when this string of 3 consecutive shutout games started.
Well, he was on that day.
Think of this way. In Sean's last 24 innings, he's given up 9 hits and 1 run. That'll play.
Boy, that's such a good pitch. I'm not complaining about not getting a call. I can't believe that Bohr didn't offer.
He's a different guy up there, isn't he?
He's not chasing anything middle away.
2 balls and a strike. He rifled that one towards center. And Ender will gather that in. Hard hit ball, 2 outs. It's certainly a new era in baseball, the way starting pitchers are used now, the number of innings they pitched. Does it concern you, Joe, that at this point I think the Braves have had 4 starters pitch 7 innings or more this year?
Sure it does.
This is game 44.
Sure it does. Put such a tax on your bullpen. You know, at somewhere you've got to pay that tax as the season goes along. And you rack up a lot of innings for those guys.
And last year I think there were 15 men who pitched over 200 innings in the major leagues last year. Frankly, I'd be surprised if there are that many after this season.
Well, I would be shocked if there were. No organization is going to let that happen. Everybody's a firm believer in protecting their assets of pitching. They're not going to let them be overworked. 100 pitches now is what probably 125 used to be, maybe even 130.
Cameron Maben, the batter. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that one's hit to center. Ender's there. No trouble. And Newcomb is out of the 6th inning. 98 pitches, 6 innings of work. Will he stay in the game? We'll find out. That is our hometown hero, Staff Sergeant Seth Calloway, being saluted here at SunTrust Park.
He was once one of the guards at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Oh, really?
And you know what kind of commitment that requires.
If you have not gone to Washington, D.C. and seen those men do what they do, you want to see something awesome, watch that.
Ronnie Washington late to his position because he wanted to shake the staff sergeant's hand. I don't blame him.
Ronald Acuna leads off for Atlanta. Acuna 0 for 2. Ooh, ripped over the tarp down the line.
Look out.
In left field. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and in any weather by the Tomb Guard Sentinels. After members of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment become ceremonially qualified, they are eligible to volunteer for duty as sentinels at the tomb.
Yeah, they can only have like no more than I think it's a 32-inch waist, maybe even smaller. Physically, they've got to be. Yeah, you're right. You and I are out.
I was eliminated in 3rd grade after that. So. They march 21 steps down a black mat behind the tomb, turn, faced east 21 seconds, turn and face north 21 seconds. They take 21 steps down the mat and repeat the process. And that was chosen because the number 21 symbolizes the highest military honor that can be bestowed, the 21 gun salute. Rip toward right. Anderson on the run makes a great running leaping catch to Rob Ronald.
This guy Anderson looks more and more like an outfielder than a 3rd baseman. Maybe because he keeps making plays like that, and we haven't seen him play 3rd base since last year. What a player.
You're right about the Sentinels at the tomb. As Freeman hits one a mile high to straightaway center. Brinson back at the 400 side. Has room. Unblemished military record. You have to be between 5'10" and 6'4" tall with proportionate weight and build. During your trial phase, a would-be Sentinel memorizes 7 pages of Arlington Cemetery history. It must be recited verbatim in order to earn a walk. If you pass the first training phase, new soldier training begins. You learn the history of Arlington Cemetery and the grave locations of 300 military veterans. You then learn how to perform the guard change ceremony and the manual of arms that takes place during the inspection portion.
So just about anybody could do that.
Oh, incredible.
I'm just sorely impressed.
Remarkable, remarkable people. And there's a strike for Nick Markakis in the lower part of that contested zone. Even count.
Might have been a strike, but it hasn't been a strike all night.
Urania on the short end of a 4-1 game. Outside for Nick, 2 balls and a strike. All 4 Atlanta runs in the 5th. Miami got a second inning run. A ground out by Holiday, the catcher, brought in Bohr, who walked to start. And a liner. Oh, a diving stop at third by Prado. Wow, the Marlins flashed some leather in that inning. Great catch in right. A super stab by Martin Prado at the hot corner to Rob Markakis. 3 up, 3 down for Atlanta in the 6th.
I want to show you the video from the injury suffered by Juan Lagares on Wednesday. Bottom of the mat of the padding in the outfield. I've talked about it for years, how all the padding should go to the bottom of the down to the ground, because somebody's going to slide into that wall underneath the padding and get hurt, or as in Lagares' case, a broken toe that tore the ligament in his big toe, and he is going to be out for the rest of the year because of that. Someday, somewhere, somebody will realize how important it will be, and should be now certainly, to put that padding all the way to the ground.
Shane Carl's the new Atlanta pitcher. Newcomb's out after 6 innings with 98 pitches tonight. And a shot to short. Nice pick by Dansby with a backhand and a perfect throw. Brinson's robbed. 1 out. Pretty slick play.
Yeah, I watching Brinson go across the bag at first. He's 0 for 3 again, but he hit that one right on the nose and can't buy a break in his mind.
Ryan Holiday's the catcher. He's knocked in the lone Marlins run. Yeah, it's a real tough loss for the Mets, who have been ravaged by injuries of late. They've got Cespedes on the DL. They've got Todd Frazier on the DL. Now Lagares lost for the year. Matt Harvey's now a Cincinnati Red. And what was a promising 11-1 and then 12-2 start for the Mets has suddenly turned into, shall we say, a real dicey proposition. They're 21-19 at the moment, 3.5 games off the pace. And playing Arizona tonight, tied 2-2 in the 4th. Pop fly foul by Holiday. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You hear it all the time in professional sports. No matter what the sport is, somebody gets hurt, someone says, okay, next man up. They've had so many injuries. They're running out of men over there.
Yeah.
They're having to go deep into their system.
Well, they've got Steven Matz pitching tonight. First, the 2-1 pitch for Holiday, which is hit right at Markakis, who retreats a few steps. And he handles that sinking liner for out number 2. As good as the Mets have been, and as good as their pitching can be with Syndergaard and Matz and DeGrom, the Mets have not won back-to-back games in a month.
Boy, does that make for a long month.
But they are playing Arizona, and Arizona's having a miserable May. They're 5-11 this month. As J.B. Shuck grabs a bat, he'll pinch hit for Urania, who went 6 innings tonight and gave up 4 runs. You see what Shuck has done against Atlanta in a couple of pinch hit appearances.
Set the ball hard.
This one bounced off his foot, and Freeman's going to make the play at first. And apparently no foul ball. So Shuck rolls out on the very first pitch, and that takes care of Miami in the top of the 7th inning. A good night for Atlanta. 4-1 your score. Time for the 7th inning stretch.
It's been Steady Eddie. Steady Nick. Call him whatever you want, PJ. Steady Nick. All right, let's get you back upstairs to Chip and Jump.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Good job on the stretch. Harlan Garcia will replace Jose Urania on the mound for Miami. Garcia was a starting pitcher, but has been moved to the bullpen. Made 6 starts. And with Adam Conley brought up, perhaps Adam Conley will take his spot in rotation for Miami.
He's done really good work. He throws very hard, very low batting average against him.
Braves saw him May 12th down in Miami. Garcia went 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, and gave up 3 homers.
Fastball slider change. Fastball tops out at about 95. But we've always raved about Adam Connolly. We can't figure out why he struggles and continues to struggle, because what we've seen has been very good. But he started the year back in AAA and, just as you said, just recently called back up.
Came up yesterday, did Conley, so let's see what Garcia can do. Mentioned the 3 homers that he gave up. 2 of them were to Freddie Freeman. The other one was to Jose Bautista. And what turned out to be a 10-5 Atlanta win. This one's hit a mile high deep toward left field. Garcia is greeted with another Braves homer. This one by Kurt Suzuki.
There may be some guys that hit them farther than Kurt, but I don't think anybody hits them as high. He hits some cloud scrapers. Fastball, hello. All over that inner half. Right in his wheelhouse. Takes forever for his homers to come down.
So it's a 5-1 Atlanta lead for Ender Inciarte, who's got a couple of hits and has scored a run. And now Ender shoots one toward left, and Garcia has been greeted rudely. Back-to-back Atlanta hits. And all of a sudden the Braves bats are awake. The offense is rolling. Braves have had trouble scoring runs at home their last 6 games. They've had no trouble here tonight. Braves have hit 9 homers now against the Marlins. This is the 6th game head-to-head.
Did you already say that that was the 9th homer Garcia's allowed?
No.
The 9th in 43 innings?
Well, he gave up 3 to the Braves.
Yeah,
so.
I know. He's given up some long balls with that fastball.
So Camargo will be the hitter. He's been on base twice. He's walked, he's singled, he has scored. Boy, his hit was a big one. Everybody in the ballpark, everybody in Braves country wondering when the Braves would come through with that big run scoring hit that had eluded them over the last 2 or 3 games. Well, Camargo with a 5th inning base hit tied it up. Atlanta got 4 in the 5th, 1 so far here in the 7th. And Inciarte the runner at first. He was thrown out trying to steal back in the 2nd. Let's see if he is going here. The pitch. He's fouled back, 0-1. Garcia out of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Led the Marlins bullpen with 68 appearances last year in his first big league season. He gave up only 6 home runs in 53 innings last year. No balls and a strike.
Johan expanded his zone a little bit there unnecessarily on an 0-1 count. He may have had a game plan though to try to hit the ball to right field and got a pitch away and couldn't hold up.
No balls, 2 strikes, again to first. Reds beat the Cubs 5-4 in game 1 of their doubleheader. That was an 11-inning game. The Cubs lead 7-0 in game 2. LA beat Washington 4-1 in their first game. They're winning 1-0 in the nightcap. That's Rich Hill and Max Scherzer, by the way, at Nationals Park tonight.
I think Scherzer's 7-1.
One ball, 2 strikes for Camargo. (5-1) Atlanta, 7th inning. Good lead by Ender. The pitch just missed. And it's 2-2. Here it is. High fly ball lifted toward left. Long run Maben. He can't get it. It's off the wall. Ball bobbled. They're going to wave Ender. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be a double off the wall for Camargo. And boy, was Ron Washington animated at third base. There was no doubt at all for Ender. He had to turn on the jets, and he did, to score the 6th Atlanta run.
Chip, I think this is a perfect example. First of all, a great swing by Camargo, almost hit it in the seats. This is a perfect example of what the change of rules has done for third base coaches on plays at home plate and being able to block the plate. Now, this throw was a little off the mark, but in years past, that would have been a play where the catcher's got that foot planted in front of home plate, hoping the throw is close enough that he can catch it and come back to the runner. But nowadays, they can't do that. And nowadays, runners can go in head first. In the past, that was always taboo. Do not go in head first. You're going to get buried by a catcher. Not anymore. You can go in head first like that and just try to swipe across home plate and avoid the tag.
And you might even be called safe.
Sometimes.
So 3 hits for the Braves here in the 7th. And I will give great credit to Rojas. That play at the plate was closer than maybe it should have been. How about his turn and release on that relay throw from Maben? That was really a nice job by the Marlins shortstop. But his effort in vain as Harlan Garcia has come in and gotten rocked. 2 RBI night, 2 hit night for Camargo as the Braves offense is wide awake again. This is more like it. No balls, 2 strikes. And pulled foul. I understand the thinking behind the slide rule at the plate. It's the Buster Posey situation. And one of the game's great players got clobbered when a former Marlin, I think it was Scott Cousins, I believe that's who it was, ran him over and broke his leg and caused Posey to miss a whole lot of time. But as a base runner, it forced you to make a lot of decisions too. If you're coming home, who's blocking that plate? How many times did you see Mike Scioscia bury people?
There's just no place to go. You try to go in there and find a spot to put your foot across the plate, and sometimes it was a very small area, and then your other choice was run them over.
And they're wearing armor.
Yeah,
you weren't. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Dansby Swanson, his first game back. He brought home a run with a bunt back in inning number 5. That bunt put the Braves up to stay 2-1. Did he check his swing? He did. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Is that a wristy swing there? And if so, how did he react?
That is a real good test right there on that check swing. try to stop it because of what kind of force it puts on your hands and wrists.
Two balls, two strikes. And again, Dansby's using the axe-handled bat for the first time in a major league game. He's made the switch after these wrist problems. I don't know if Joe's a hitter. Is that a dramatic change for someone 40 games into a regular season?
It's a dramatic feel down at the bottom of the bat. Change of feeling.
2-2. Line drive, shallow left. Maben's coming on. He'll make the catch. And Dansby's retired for the first out. So Charlie Culberson's going to come on and pinch hit. Shane Carl worked a 1-2-3 seventh inning. Sean Newcomb tonight went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Sean must be tired. First run he's given up in his last 4 starts. But he's got a 5-run lead now and is in good shape to go to 5-1 if Atlanta can get 6 more outs. And take it low, ball 1. Julio Teheran pitches for Atlanta tomorrow. 1:10 first pitch. Then we hit the road. Be a very interesting road trip for the Braves, who've been so good away from SunTrust Park. Atlanta goes to Philadelphia for 3. Then they've got to take on the high-flying Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. Red Sox are 30-15 on the year. Squibb towards second. That'll get a runner to third, but it costs Atlanta the second out. Margot 90 feet away for Ozzie Albies, who's knocked in a couple of runs. And Ozzie is tonight's SunTrust Confidence Player of the Game.
Last 22 games, 19 runs scored out of the leadoff spot, and doing his fair share driving in runs too, as he's already done tonight with a huge hit to cap off the 5th inning. Up to 33 RBIs overall, most on the team.
Ozzie's still tied with Bryce Harper atop the home run pile in the National League. First in runs scored, first in total bases. 5th in daytime batting average. 2nd in the league in hitting against lefties. We'll see one of those tomorrow. A ton of first inning production too. One of his home runs this year, a grand slam. It came against these Marlins back on the 10th of May. Youngest Brave to hit a grand slam since Andrew Jones in '97. And this one's rolled to third. Martin scoops and fires, and that's the inning. A home run, a single, and a double. Atlanta adds 2 more runs. We're off to the 8th. It's 6-1 in game 2. Everything went right for Atlanta in inning number 5. 4 hits, 4 runs. Dansby Swanson back laid down a beautiful bunt. Ozzie Albies with a 2-out, 2-run scoring single. Kurt Suzuki-Joe a moment ago hit a towering 7th-inning homer. Camargo pounds one off the wall, and the Braves offense alive with 6 runs on 8 hits tonight.
This is the Johan Camargo that we have grown to love. 3 for 3 tonight, playing third base and not playing shortstop. All A's across there tonight. Another good outing for Sean Newcomb.
So Martin Prado's the Miami leadoff man. He'll face Dan Winkler to start the 8th inning. Great crowd tonight, 37,715. 21 games now for Dan. Look at that ERA, a sub-1. Most of that work against right-handed batters, and that good work continues. Prado's retired. He's 0 for 4.
He's had a few days rest too. He had worked the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, and has not worked since the 14th against Chicago. So a little respite for him, and he ought to be fresh tonight.
Miguel Rojas is 1 for 3, a first-inning single against Newcomb. Sean went 6 or more innings now in 6 straight starts. Was under 100 pitches, which is always good. I'm guessing his next turn would come in Boston. Against the Red Sox and the Green Monster in left. That'll be a treat. You know, that'll be a thrill for him. He's from that area.
Yeah, and he'll get an extra day again because of the off day on Thursday. So his next turn might come Friday night at Fenway. Yeah, you're right. What a great experience for him and his family.
1 ball, 1 strike for Rojas. Sean lives in Randolph, Massachusetts. I'm not sure exactly where that is. And he went to the University of Hartford. So yeah, what a thrill. Two balls and a strike. And back to the screen, 2-2. As well as Sean has pitched, we will forgive him for being a Patriots fan. But you can understand that, being from that part of the world. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Winkler versus Rojas. All Atlanta, 6-1, game 2. Julio Teheran and Wei Yin Chen will be the pitchers tomorrow afternoon, and that's way high. A full count. Carl and Winkler have been revelations out of the Atlanta bullpen. They've done excellent work for the Braves. In fact, the Braves bullpen this month has really pitched outstandingly well. Strike 3 inside corner. Rojas was on his way to first base. He's rung up. Another right-handed hitter retired. 2 outs before Castro hits. Let's enjoy a message from Advance Auto Parts.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
2 up, 2 down for Winkler. Here's Castro, 0 for 3. Braves pen in May. 2 wins, 1 loss, 2.59 ERA. And after Walkapalooza in April, they've really thrown a lot more strikes. In April, the Braves bullpen walked 65 men in 92 innings. So far in May, just 16 walks in almost 57 innings. So they are not making it as tough on themselves this month as they did in the season's first weeks.
Took a little stress off by throwing more strikes. And this guy just pounds strikes in there.
Popped up. Freeman gives chase, but Freddie won't have a play. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dan Winkler has not walked a batter in his last 9 outings. His last walk was April 24th at Cincinnati.
Which is exactly what your 7th and 8th innings, and frankly your 9th inning guys to do. And Brian Snitker has said Dan might get some opportunities in the ninth. Ground ball to third. Camargo. Long throw. And it's 3 up, 3 down. Carl 3 up, 3 down in the seventh. Winkler the same in the eighth. And the Braves lead by 5.
With the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Beautiful night in Atlanta, especially because of the scores. 6-1 Atlanta. Acuna, Freeman, and Markakis coming up before 37,000 plus tonight. Tonight, a more typical Braves offensive performance, where the bottom of the order has fed the top. In the case of Ozzie Albies, who got 2 runs knocked in the 5th inning after Suzuki, Inciarte, Camargo, and Swanson reached against the Marlins staff. Jose Urena at the moment on the hook for yet another loss. He would fall to 0-7. Acuna, 1 ball, 1 strike. Check to swing, and that stays high. Told in that Dodger game against Max Scherzer, Rich Hill had to come out after just a couple of pitches. He continues to have fingernail and blister problems. So he was pulled. Last report, LA was leading 1-0 in game 2. The Braves hoping the Dodgers can sweep that doubleheader tonight.
Well, that's tough when you can't figure out a way to avoid those blisters.
Acuna didn't get it. Full count.
The Marlins earlier in the game with the right-hander pitching did not play him to pull. They did not put a shift on, but with the left-hander Carlin in there, they now have 3 guys on the left side, and they're figuring he has a better chance to pull. I'm sorry, Garcia. I think I did that in Miami too.
That missed downstairs, and Acuna takes a base on balls. Garcia's now had 4 base runners in his inning plus of relief, and Freddie Freeman's coming up.
His name is Harlan, but it's his first name.
If it was Carlin and you were thinking about George, that would have been news. So Freddie's the hitter. He's 0 for 3. And Freddie had the multi-homer game against Garcia down in South Florida. He also had a 5-hit game against the Fish on May 10th. And I'll go back to what we said the other night. Great article online from Joe Poznansky, a terrific baseball writer, about teams continuing to shift against Freddie Freeman. Why do they keep doing it? He's one of the best hitters in baseball at beating the shift, and he's more than content and able to hit the ball the other way. I know it's a moral victory when he settles for, if you want to use that term, for a single or a double, but goodness gracious, he's got the whole left side to stroke one here.
It may be a moral victory, but it's good for Atlanta because of everybody hitting. There's a good chance of somebody moving him around.
Just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In your day, did you see much shifting against your teams or against you in particular? Was that such a
maybe the other way? No, there were a few guys. There was maybe 1 or 2 guys, but nothing like what we're seeing now.
I mean, Lou Boudreau is the man that's kind of credited with the invention of it. It was called the Ted Williams shift. He did exactly what teams are doing to Freddie Freeman and a lot of left-handed pull hitters. And Ted Williams was so, shall we say, obstinate or strong-headed, he refused to hit the ball the other way. He was going to hit it right through that shift or over their heads into the seats if he could. Swing and a drive. Shift that into the chop house. You okay over there?
Yeah.
Freeman's 3rd homer this year against Harlan Garcia, and the Braves have a blowout going. It's 8-1.
Yeah, easy and quiet the swing was too. You'd gotten ahead of him in the count. They put one in the deep fryer.
Well, if they could have played 4 guys out in that interest, the chop house, they would have had him out easy.
Ted Williams would have been so proud.
Yeah, yes, he would have. So Atlanta's got a couple of homers tonight. Suzuki and Freeman with the honors, and Nick Markakis the batter. And that's in for a strike. 8 runs, 9 hits for Atlanta. Looking more and more like the Braves will remain in first by themselves, entering action tomorrow.
As they say, chicks dig the long ball.
No balls, 2 strikes. For Markakis. And this one's popped up. Shallow left field, and Maben is there, and he puts the squeeze on that for out number 1. Freddie Freeman is once again having a very quiet, steady, productive MVP kind of campaign. He's in the top 10 in hitting, top 5 in RBIs, top 5 in multi-hit games, top 10 in runs, hits, total bases, walks, on base percentage. He leads the league in that category. Hits lefties, hit righties, hits in the daytime, hits in the nighttime.
Home road.
Plays great first base.
And dodged a huge bullet when he was hit by that pitch at home earlier this year.
Yeah, when Hobie Milner nailed him, I think everybody in the ballpark thought, uh-oh.
He did.
Yeah. But you had the excellent catch when he was walking off the field after he took himself right out of the game. He had his batting helmet, and I think it was he sort of flipped his batting helmet, and you saw the way he was able to move his wrist or his hand.
Right. Right. He kind of had to manipulate it, keep from dropping it.
And fortunately, no major damage. I'm sure it was sore. I'm sure it was uncomfortable, but Freddie refused to bow to the pain. The pitch not close. Suzuki walks. And this is Harlan Garcia's game. Marlins don't want to go deeper into their bullpen. As this one looks to be out of reach for Don Mattingly's club in an 8-1 score. After the Braves and Marlins play tomorrow, the Mets go to New York. They've got 3 with the Mets, then an off day, and then they host the Nationals. In fact, when we saw Miami, they had an amazing stat in their notes that here the Marlins 17-27. They have the toughest remaining schedule of any team in the major leagues still ahead. So I don't envy Don Mattingly and his staff the incredibly difficult challenge that lays ahead for them.
And you know why that is? It's like Jesse's going to throw the 9th. It's because they got to play in the National League East.
Ground ball hit towards second. And Rojas with the turn. It's double play, and that ends the inning.
A lot of games against teams that have winning records right now.
Not to mention the AL East with the Yankees and Boston, whom the East in the National League plays in interleague play. We'll talk about that when we come back for the 9th inning. It's all Atlanta, 8-1 after 8 at SunTrust. Braves Live presented by Xfinity follows us after the Braves get 3 more outs in the 9th. Hopefully those 3 outs will be acquired without incident by left-hander Jesse Biddle.
Jesse's had some rest too. He has not pitched since the night that Sean Newcomb started down in Miami on the 13th. 9 games total. This is number 10. 12 strikeouts in 11 innings. Good work there, but for some reason left-handers are having it a lot better against him than right-handers.
Well, the birthday boy Brian Anderson will lead off. Young man turned 25 years old this morning. He's 2 for 3 with a strikeout. And that was the first strikeout he's had against the Braves staff in 2018. Anderson, Bohr, and Maben for Don Mattingly's Marlins. Who are 3 outs away from falling 50 games below 500 all-time playing in the city of Atlanta in franchise history. Miami's 82 and 131 all-time. That was a pretty pitch. Strike 2. This 2018 season, no matter how it turns out, Joe, I think it's going to be very interesting come late August and September because of the way the interleague schedule lines up. Here's the pitch. The National League East has a very, very distinct disadvantage over the National League Central, for example. Remember, the National League Central does not have a single team playing over 500 baseball, but the Cubs, the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Brewers get to play those opponents in interleague play. Meanwhile, the Braves have a series with the 28-13 Yankees, the 30-15 Red Sox, a home-and-home series with Toronto, home-and-home with Tampa Bay, and at least on paper, they get to play the Baltimore Orioles. Sharply hit right to the shortstop, Dansby. He's got it. Perfect throw. One out. I know that's something nobody can predict. I know it's the rotating divisional opposition in interleague play. I wish there was a way that we could make it fair to avoid seasons like this where, again, if those National League Central teams run the table, it makes it a lot harder for the Eastern teams to keep pace in wild card contention.
The only way I see that can make it at least a little more fair is to have a balanced schedule. You're still going to be bouncing different divisions from the American League in and out of your schedule on the interleague play, but at least on a balanced schedule, everybody plays each other the same number of times.
A looper by Bohr into shallow left field, and there's that lefty-lefty thing you were talking about. Not hard hit, but Bohr finds a hole for his first hit of the night, and he's aboard for the third time in the game. And Cameron Maben, the hitter, he doubled back in the second inning. LA still leads Washington 1-0, bottom of the fourth inning at Nationals Park. Washington maybe out of sync for a day or two. They have had horrible luck with weather in Washington, D.C. Today's the first day they've played more than 5 innings in about a week. Well, they're going to get their money's worth. They're going to play 18 tonight, as they have the Dodgers in for their lone visit to Washington. 1 ball, 1 strike for Maben.
You know, they may be hitting a wall right now, right about now, after not having played in so long.
They ran into a buzzsaw in game 1. Walker Buehler, the very talented Dodger right-hander, I think struck out 9, walked none in 6 innings in the first game. That was against Tanner Roark. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maben's pushed off the plate. Giants were winners today. They beat Colorado 9-4. San Diego just beat Pittsburgh 6-2. Arizona 4-2 over the Mets. Pop fly out of play. Watch out for the Giants, folks. Giants are only 4 games out in the National League West. And Madison Bumgarner is lurking.
No, I'm not watching out for him anymore.
Nope.
No, they're on my bad list.
That's right.
Come in here and sweep the Braves and get swept 4 straight in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think it's Kuiper's fault.
Well, they left Atlanta and left most of their team behind or something. I don't know what happened.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Foul back. Colorado's a half game behind Arizona pending the outcome of action tonight.
Yeah, Arizona's really hit a dry spell.
Yeah, Pollock got hurt. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Steven Souza got hurt again. He's got a pectoral problem. As Freeman takes a peek at the stands, he's to the edge of the warning track and puts that away. Maben's retired, and the Marlins have 1 out left. And here's Brinson, 0-for-3. Miami led 1-0 until the Braves came up in the 5th inning. Atlanta got 4 in the 5th, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th to pull away. And a little bit of everything offensively tonight. Braves played small ball in the 5th inning, 4 runs on 4 hits. Then Suzuki and Freeman unloaded with homers.
Yeah, a couple of really good bunts in the 5th inning. One from Dansby that got a run in, and another from Newcomb, who moved some runners up.
Pulled toward third. Nice play. Long throw. What a way to end it.
What a throw.
That guy's got an arm as good as anybody in the big leagues. A gorgeous play by Camargo at the line. The backhand, the plant, and a laser to first to get a fast runner. And Atlanta has beaten Miami tonight by a final score of 8-1, making a winner, Joe, of Sean Newcomb, who's now 5-1 on the year.
And he got the runs he needed to work with after giving up a run and breaking his string back in the second inning. String of shutout innings, but he pitched well, and he's on the board for his 5th win already.
And Atlanta's even the series at a game apiece. They'll stay in first place. They're again 10 games over 500 at 27-17 and go for the series win here tomorrow afternoon. 8-1 is your final score. Newcomb beats Urania, no save, 37,715 paid to watch it. For Kelsey Winger, Joe Simpson, and our great crew, Chip Carey inviting you to stay tuned for Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. It's coming right up.